Here's a highlight from a recent episode of Booked on Rock. Gillian Gaar is the author of Tom Petty, The Life and Music. Chapters on Petty's Live Aid appearance, Farm Aid, bonding with Bob Dylan, they're in there too. Of course, their tour with Bob Dylan, Tom and the Heartbreakers. And there's an album that's sometimes forgotten that came out prior to Full Moon Fever, 1987's Let Me Up, I've Had Enough, featuring Jammin' Me, All Mixed Up, Think About Me as the singles. Things are moving along quite nicely here until May 17th, 1987, when Tom's house burned down. This was not an accident.
Now, that was weird. I don't remember hearing about that at the time. And it wasn't something I knew about him until working on this book. But yeah, someone set fire to his house.
While they're in the house, too. They're all having breakfast, I think he said.
Yeah. And it was his wife's birthday. And they were,
That's right.
going to be celebrating. And one of their daughters, thankfully, was sleeping over at a friend's house. And I don't know, I guess if they got up at a regular time, it wasn't unusually early, like, 4 a.m. or something. But yeah, they were there having breakfast, and he thought, oh, what's that? Some wire gone bad or something. But then no, it's the house, and it's on fire. And it sounds like it burned pretty quickly because he talked about trying to put some of the fire out with a hose, and the hose melted in his hands. And his housekeeper got mildly burned, but thankfully that was all that happened to them. They were able to get out, and much of the house was destroyed. I mean, you think about that, losing your stuff. That would be hard, whoever you are. But it seems that a lot of the studio and his instruments and his tapes were preserved. So that was a lucky break for him.
You mentioned that.
But still, it wasn't a place he could live. And then he had thought it was an accident, that, yes, faulty wiring, something like that. But then the investigator said, no, we've looked and it's clearly arson. And they found a hole had been cut in the back fence and this kind of thing. And he was just stunned. Who would want to kill me and my family? And the comments he made on it, he said he just, he had no idea who would want to. He didn't even, and it never has been solved.
Never saw. Case went cold. That's it. Yeah. I mean, that's something that somebody should do some investigation into and find out, because that whoever did that should be brought to justice if they're still around. But I mean, that really shook him up. Now I think he rebuilt the house on the same location. But who was it? Somebody, it was Annie Lennox too.
Annie Lennox, speaking of the other Eurythmics tie.
She did him a real solid and made sure him and his family got a place to stay, got clothing and all that.
Yeah. I mean, he was going out on tour soon, and he just went ahead with the tour. I mean, I suppose, why not? Instead of just stay home brooding about it. And then it seemed like, he kind of had that laconic way of talking. And he'd be at a concert saying, well, yeah, I had an interesting week. Like last week, my house burned down. But they didn't get this. And he holds up his guitar. I was kind of calm. He's saying, yeah, my house burned down. I lost most of my possessions.